6 of them's probably all right. Intergalactic Interviews, episode 162. Here we are. I keep on banging the table. I noticed that every past episode, I go 161, 162. I'm serious. I noticed that in the past shows. I'm here with C-Mart, working the boards. Say hi, C-Mart. Oh, we don't have okay. We've got a lot of people in-house tonight. We've got Nelson Byrne, a.k.a. Larry.
Larry Litch.
Larry what?
Larry Litch here.
Litch?
Litch.
He's Phil Spector's cousin.
Phil Spector's cousin.
That's right.
Okay, we got Rob Stewart, a.k.a. Diamond Dick.
That's right.
And we've got
Paddy McFuckerston.
Carol. How do you say it?
Cardle.
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 Aiden Cardle.
Aiden Paddy Wagon Cardle.
That's right. That's right.
Sometimes they call me Addy Orange.
Only 2 of you were in Paddy Wagon, right?
That's right.
Okay, we got 2 members of Paddy Wagon.
I'm their sound man.
And 1 sound man.
We're going to recruit him eventually into the band. He's looking for a harp right now.
He's always in and out the band,
That's
playing
right.
harmonicas.
The fifth Beatle, you know.
Yeah, that's right. You just need the
Nobody
haircut,
knows
that's all.
about it.
No, keep the hair. Keep the hair. It's nice and
The
thick
Beatle
still.
haircut.
Oh, thank you.
It's nice and thick still, bud.
It is still.
So
Man of my
these
age.
guys run SUNA Studios, right?
Well,
2 of
us
them.
and several others that couldn't be here this
2 of
evening.
them.
Yeah, we're
That
part
was-
of
You're
the
probably in the
management
studio.
crew.
I'm
Cool.
just one of the other members of the SUNA family. Pretty
Management
much.
That's
team.
right.
Yeah.
Part of the
Management
management
team.
team.
Awesome.
So what is that?
What is SUNA? Let's talk about SUNA.
Well, first off, SUNA is anus spelled backwards.
I'd like to make a toast to that.
Is that where it came from?
That's legitimately
Are
right.
you serious?
I thought it was like an
That's
Egyptian
new
sun
news.
god or
Originally
I
something.
can
derived.
see you, everyone that's listening right now. Well,
Originally
maybe not
derived.
everyone, but
Those in the know,
a
no.
large percentage of the
If
people
you
that
can
are
spell
listening
forwards,
right
you
now
can also
So we used to
spell
have these
do not know that SUNA Studio
Swan
is
in,
actually
anus backwards.
Yugoslavia.
Our old SUNA shirts was great. People didn't realize until they went to the washroom. And they'd be looking in the mirror and then they would see anus.
no kidding.
Yeah. And they're like, did you know that
didn't even-
your studio name backwards is anus? I'm like, really?
Really?
I had no idea.
Now we know.
That's bizarre. But yeah, that's the original name. It actually wasn't something that I came up with. It was something my original business partner and good friend at the time, Brent Woodworth, came up with. Anus backwards.
Shout out to Brent Woodworth,
Brent,
AKA Prague.
the Prague.
the Prague. Right on. To my understanding, there's several locations
Yes, sir.
for SUNA Studios.
That's
right?
correct. In the last 4 years, we've opened or reopened 84 studios.
84.
84
That
rooms.
can't be right.
84 rooms.
84 rooms.
Rooms.
That's
Not
right.
locations.
Four facilities.
Okay.
4 facilities, 84 rooms.
Okay. So I know there's one just off of Hastings
There's a
behind
couple.
the whatever grocery store that is there.
The No Frills.
The No Frills.
the No Frills one.
What's
that's,
that? What's that one all about?
Pender and Woodlands.
Pender
that
and
one.
Woodlands, yeah.
Pender and
This is
Woodlands
Vancouver,
location.
BC, East
That's
Van.
right.
It's
Sounds
known
like an
as
old English song.
that's the one known as Tuna.
Tuna.
That's our first.
Second. That's why it's 2.
Right, Tuna, but it's
The original location was called SUNA.
Okay.
And then SUNA died a horrible death because of landlord shiftiness. And then we opened Tuna.
Oh, McLean.
So it was 9 years ago we opened SUNA 1. And then 4 years after that, I can't count. What are these all for? It's just vodka. I'm losing track of
yeah.
things.
The landlord refused to.
4
really-
years after we opened the first location,
Yeah.
the landlord, there was some shiftiness involved.
He refused
fucking
to
dick
do the
landlords,
lease.
huh?
He
Didn't
refused to
wanna redo
renew
the
the
lease.
lease, which
Well,
has happened to
actually-
a lot of studios.
No doubt.
actually,
And then he wanted to gentrify it. After.
Major
bit more
gents.
Make it more
complex.
glitzy.
He
It's
figured he
classic-
could get a better
No, it's a
quality of person in there.
classic
Is that what-
Vancouver
Is that what
landlord
he's trying to
Who
think?
situation.
knows
No?
what they're thinking?
new
right?
new owner. Guy came in, bought the building,
Oh, yeah.
decided to develop it.
He had plans.
And they dicked around on the lease for a while. They wouldn't say they wouldn't renew it. They dragged it out.
Yeah.
And then I got diagnosed with cancer. So I was actually sort of
Yeah.
out of it for a little while. And then they decided, they gave us like 30 days notice to tear out of there.
While you were-
Douchebags, man.
Here's the thing.
We
I
weren't
actually
the
applied
only
for renewal using the renewal
tenant.
clause in the
Didn't
lease.
actually have cancer.
But I did it by email.
Yeah.
And they said in the lease, it says you have to send us a letter mailed to this
Snail mail.
address.
Right.
Even though
Right.
I emailed them and they said, okay, sure, what do you want the length of your renewal to be? Blah, 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 blah. And then again, I got sick.
Because that's
So
how they
I
did it in
couldn't
ancient
really-
Rome.
You couldn't,
I couldn't
do
really fight
anything,
it.
man. You couldn't
So
do anything.
we had to tear it out within 30 days. But at that point, we just opened our other
Sucked.
location
The
up the
band
way.
was-
And we'd actually
band was
moved all
down
the
at that
bands
time.
out of that location to the new one. Kind of figured the writing was on the wall. And now, SUNA 1 is an ice cream parlor.
What's the location
That's
that?
pretty rad.
That is
That's
1495 Francis.
Very
That is
cultural.
Yeah, it was actually a really cool place. It was right up the street from. Sorry, I just.
We can't talk about it.
I'm sorry.
No, we don't talk about it. We don't
I think
talk
you're
down
all
their
right.
bad ice
I think
cream
you're all
shop.
right.
For a while.
Let's
We,
not
it's
downplay
half a block
their
from,
ice cream shop.
RDS, the skate.
Oh, Red Dragon. Oh,
Yeah,
are
yeah.
you talking about like the 85 flavor?
No, not the gelato place. No, it's like Ernest ice cream or something like that.
Oh, okay.
It was because when we took it over, it was just a
Hand
greasy
pumped.
shithole.
Oh, I was thinking the Land Yachts place on. I think that's Pender as well.
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever there.
This is
That's a
some
bit
kind of
further
hand
up,
pumped,
yeah.
vegan,
Yeah,
naturally
whatever,
sourced.
yeah.
No, it's right.
We're
at
not
Francis.
talking about ice cream.
Francis
We're not
and
talking
McLean.
about ice cream. We're
Yeah.
talking about tuna.
That's right. So Tuna was open. And then 2 years after we opened Tuna, which was
Very good.
2 years ago,
Yeah,
we
that's-
opened the Rockery, which we did in partnership with Greenhouse Studios. The boys that
Where's the Rockery?
That's on Odlum Drive.
That's
So-
the one that I consider SUNA.
1385.
Whenever
Okay.
whenever
You've been
I
to.
drive
Yeah.
bands around, whenever I pick up bands, they
Yeah.
always say I need
Yeah.
to go to SUNA.
Yeah.
And I'm like, which location?
Yeah,
And
we're
they're
We're way
like,
down the road. Yeah.
Well,
They don't know the name.
They don't know the name of the
Oh,
street
yeah,
because
yeah.
it's a little side street.
They know it's
off
Suna.
Of,
Some
yeah.
of them don't
Still
know it's the
Suna.
Rockery.
Same family, right?
Odlum.
Yeah,
I didn't
Odlum.
know it was the Rockery.
Yeah, 1385
Yeah. It's the
Odlum
Rockery.
Drive.
Yeah, it's called the Rockery.
they're all Suna Studios. Now, we opened the Rockery on Odlum in partnership with Greenhouse,
Right.
which was a great learning experience for us because these are the guys that have built their own recording studios for years, Levens Brothers.
Yeah.
They
Bruce and
produce
Roger
all
Levens, great
kinds of
guys.
high-profile artists out of the recording
That's the
studio.
Greenhouse guys.
That's
Greenhouse,
right.
Little
yeah,
Mountain
Bruce and Roger,
Sound,
great
big
guys.
time.
Yeah, they're
Big time
fantastic.
guys. And
So it
down
taught
to
us a
earth.
huge lesson in terms of sound treatments and things of that nature. One of my partners, the original SUNA partners, was a commercial developer. So that brought a lot of oomph to what we were doing because, like, we built our first studio, the 4 rooms that we had ourselves, which almost killed us because, like, we built them really well. They were really well built, but it was like 4 guys doing 4 rooms, and it cost us like $60,000 and almost literally killed us.
Bankrupt.
And no, not like physically bankrupt.
I had to smash my guitar, man.
But then Tuna, when we opened Tuna, we had Amrit, my partner, come in, and he brought all his guys in. These guys building high rises and
Yeah,
homes and
wicked,
duplexes,
man.
and he just
Guys.
blasted out 15 rooms.
Yeah, he's
in
15 rooms at
2 to
the
3
second
months.
space.
Took us 6 months to build 4 rooms ourselves. Took him 3 months to build 15 rooms in the Tuna location. Then we opened the Rockery, and we did 20 rooms there. And again, it took about 3 years.
That's like an upstairs and downstairs.
3
Yeah,
months.
well, it's on a weird grade. It's like
Right.
this. So,
Yeah.
like, you're going in ground level up top, and you're going in ground level on
Right.
the bottom. It's great loading and unloading. And we got a 20-year lease there, which was another lesson we learned from, the landlord that ice cream does.
Tighten up that.
So that
lease.
one's going to be there for a while.
Oh, yeah.
How many years are you into that lease?
3.
3 years. So
Yeah.
you got 17 left.
That's right. And the
Wow.
Jamnasium, which we're opening shortly.
I'd like
we're
to
gonna
make
be
a
forever.
toast to that right here.
Here's
The
the
Jam
17
Nation.
more
Fuck
years of
yeah.
the
Fuck
Odlum,
yeah.
For
the Odlum
sure.
Suna
Yeah,
space.
man.
Cool.
Did you get a
Rockery?
beer?
Thank you, Rob.
Did you get
It's
a
called the
beer?
Rockery.
The Rockery, oh.
Did you get a beer? Okay, you're good.
He's got a vodka.
Excellent, excellent.
The Jamnasium is the
to
next
Rob,
one.
man.
to
Yeah,
be
what's
open.
this Jamnasium? This is the new Suna space opening
New
up?
Suna, well, 1.5 blocks from the
Odlum.
Rockery. So it's right at William and Clark.
William and Clark.
That's
Yeah.
right. It's
Is that north or it's got to be north of the Odlum space?
That's right. Yeah, just a little ways. Like you can see the rock or the Jamnasium
Near
building from
Venables?
the back door of
Yeah.
the Rockery.
I
it's-
want
you
to
look
see
out-
this place.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
How many?
It's
How many?
Come by for a tour.
49 rooms.
49 rooms in
Yeah,
this
only
one.
40.
Come by for a tour.
It's over 12,000
I would
square
like
feet.
to.
It's
pretty
massive.
cool,
like to,
man.
yeah.
It's like,
It's
whoa.
ripped.
And we're doing some really cool
Rick
stuff there
Dick
in terms
Dick.
of the way that we've constructed it.
Nuts.
We're actually wiring all of the rooms with Ethernet cable, pre-wiring. Yeah.
Nice.
Because the big thing right now is live streaming, right? And a lot of bands.
Hardwired, not just Wi-Fi
That's
that
right.
drops
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
That's
you
right.
want.
Yeah.
Because the problem
That's
with
nice,
soundproofing, the problem with soundproofing
Nice.
is
Kills the
it
Wi-Fi.
kills Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
And we do a
yeah.
lot of
Of course,
soundproofing.
Yeah, there
We
you go.
do 2 layers of drywall, different thicknesses, then a layer of Roxol mineral wool insulation with wood studs, an air channel, and then repeat. So between rooms, it takes 120 decibels down to 20, which is awesome. So you can actually talk, and there's a guy screaming loud, like metal band right next door, as loud as you can imagine.
I like it.
And it works
It
great.
sounds like you've learned.
But it's radiation proof.
Get that dead space.
You've learned from past spaces and
For sure.
mistakes and all this. I really like that.
We've
That
got a
sounds
template.
like-
It works
It's
really
all
Sounds like
well.
it's
radiation
amazing.
proof, the whole place.
And
is
everything's
woven
up to
concrete.
code.
Now,
And I'm
the
radioactive now.
Jamnasium is the name of the whole place.
Yes.
That's
so
right.
it's like
Location.
Suna 3, no, Suna 4.
Each
Suna
one
4, but
gets
third in
its name,
operation.
It's
right?
Suna 4, but it's called the Jamnasium. Do you guys have like a large showcase room?
We're moving our hourly operation to the top floor there. Yes, we will have about a 200 square foot showcase room there. It's not massive. Thing is this.
That's something that I missed. Remember the Iron Road studio?
I know.
Remember they had, I don't know, I think it was like
know
a
what?
dozen rooms or something like that, but it had a showcase room.
We've got that.
Unique, isn't it?
No, we're building that in New West. So New
There's
West
a lot
is the
of
other one.
laws to go around sometimes.
Okay, let
for
Rob
those kind of
speak.
things,
All right,
like-
everybody
It
let
was
Rob speak.
Iron Road was
If you want to
totally
take up that much space, and then you got to legalize the
totally
if you're serving
underground.
alcohol and stuff.
Oh yeah, it
you
was
know,
always the after hours.
becomes a lot of
place.
liability
Not
stuff,
that I'm,
yeah.
Not that I'm
Rob,
breaking
Rob,
any
Rob,
big
awesome.
news here or
No,
anything.
they're
but-
awesome.
You guys shut up. Rob had a point.
Yeah.
What's your point, Rob?
I don't know.
No,
Curdle, what's his point?
It was
We
about
did,
the gymnasium
Curdle's
So
got
after
the
the-
point.
so
and the fucking hourlies, right?
Before we done, to expand some of the business. So this is Larry Litch.
The Lynch.
Nelson Litch. So
Nelson, also
is,
known as Larry Litch.
by trade and experience, beyond being an upstanding model citizen,
Yes.
that never gets blackout drunk and gets into any compromising situations.
Audio
Allegedly.
engineer.
He's an audio engineer.
Sound man.
He's also
Sound
a model
man, sound
part-time.
body.
At the,
He's
at the
also a
Rockery
model
location,
part-time.
we have 4
He's a
hourly
part-time
rooms.
model.
And over time, what we've done, we were
Sound
testing our
mind.
hourly model with these rooms that were built to a really high, level of soundproofing, and people seemed to like them a lot. But what we did was we had one set of rooms that were sort of off to the side, 2, small one and a big one.
Yeah.
So we've started to turn this into a recording studio, which is great because
Fucking
it's not one that you have
deadly.
to spend. We're not spending $100,000 building the place. It's already built. We built it
It's already
as
soundproofed.
a lockout to begin with, and then as an hourly afterwards. And it's got a hollow floor so
That's
we can
what
run
we did,
cables
man.
underneath. And that
Put a
kind of
nice
stuff.
window in
spent our
between the
time.
2 rooms.
Exactly. So it's already essentially constructed. Didn't cost us $1 million. So we're going to run it as a low-cost recording option.
You've
once
already
the
got
Jamnasium-
gear.
Absolutely.
You've already got
We had all
gear.
kinds of gear from
That's
years of
awesome.
doing
Years
home
of collection,
recording
for
and
sure.
our own
So
studio
much.
recording, all kinds of
It's
stuff.
going and
to
and
throw
it'll be
in.
a
I like it.
really
So much.
low-cost option for the bands that jam with us.
And
Between
these days, the gears.
between all the
break down.
locations that we have,
Do you provide the engineering as well?
Yes,
Absolutely.
Yeah, we do,
Nelson
we do,
and-
What happened tonight?
live off the floor recording there.
Yeah.
and,
What happened tonight,
we do
boys?
Isolated
We just mixed a song
recording.
there.
Depends what the band wants.
This
you
guy's
know?
got
We
some
do
skills,
just
though.
like any other recording studio from like.
So if
kinda
a
model it
band
after
wanted
Abbey
to bring
Road.
in like a producer and all their members, there's an
Perfect.
in-house engineer that can show them how to run
I'm
everything.
the guy that's there to keep
I
them
like that.
facilitated and get them to.
Do you
use
have
the
like
gear.
a set hourly rate?
We have
7,000
Room
wasn't it, an
plus
hour?
engineer for
Yeah.
Yes.
Your job will probably drop because what we've been doing
Yeah.
is because it's an hourly and we've been charging $16.66 an hour for our hourly.
Six,
what I would do
six,
That's
was
for
go
rehearsal?
for rehearsing, and we had 3
$16.66
rooms.
an hour, and everything's included.
Everything's
that the number
included
of?
except
Cymbals,
your guitar amp.
snares,
The number
everything
of
except
guitar.
guitar heads.
That's
or
right.
Cabs there.
Cabs are included.
Cabs are in there. Just
Bass
a-
amp is included.
Bring your own guitar heads because
bass amp.
or rent
those
them
are
from
known
us.
to
and they're
be
$6.66 flat, not by the hour if you
temperamental.
want to rent them. So
Yeah.
it's cheap as hell.
Yeah, and we rent out.
I like
we
that.
have, we
See,
have
a lot of what we've been
collection
doing
old
is community
Marshalls
give
and
back.
things for people to use.
Yeah.
stuff
You've got
that people
lockouts
like.
as well, though, right?
We've got lockouts.
Yeah,
and
monthly
whatnot.
lockouts.
What'd you say,
is
like
our
40
main-
something lockouts?
So between, and
many?
that's the other thing, we reopened Diamond Sharp Studios, which recently closed down in December. So that was a situation where the landlord, rather the operator, not the landlord, the operator was not
Negligent.
paying. There was a problem between him and the landlord involving
paying his
financial
rent,
issues.
really, like-
I won't go into details because I don't have the details, and quite frankly, it's none of my business. All I know is,
here to-
all anybody knows is that there was a 24-hour notice text message and Facebook message that went out from the operator to all the bands that were jamming there saying, hey guys, you got 24 hours to come
Yeah,
grab
I
your gear
saw
because the
that.
bailiff's coming in to put a lock on the door,
Lock that door.
and anything left in the building
gear.
can be seized as an
gear.
asset. So then,
Like a
like
child
that
that your
night,
grandpa
all
gave
the
you?
bands
Get it.
jumped down there and started unloading all their stuff like
That must
that.
have been a nightmare.
Lose.
Must have been awful.
That's
So anyway, we saw this message on
that's scary.
Facebook, and we
Everybody
just
lost
like
again.
other jam spaces like Bullies is another one, reached out and said, like if there's anything we can do, let us know. And this is awful. Like we thought it was a gentrification issue. Literally thought,
Yeah.
here we go, another condo going up or whatever. But we got a reply almost immediately from one of the tenants saying, no, this is not a
Wasn't the case at
gentrification
all.
issue. There's something wrong between the operator and the landlord, and there's a big. So we then reached out one of our contacts, a realtor, a good friend of ours, which is part of our secret to success.
Focus
Is,
on the
again, we got a
sadness.
developer partner, we got a realtor partner, we got a legal and financial, all kinds of different advisors involved. Reached out, got in touch with the landlord, we started viewing the place, and then we got the lease and started swabbing the place out. So between the new S
Swabbing the
location,
deck, laddie.
Jamnasium,
Yeah.
Tuna, and the Rockery,
Swashbuckling.
we have 84 lockout rooms, 7 hourlies, and 1 recording studio. And the beautiful thing is, at the New West location, if everything goes according to plan with the city of New West, we're going to open the entire top floor as a showcase room, which is roughly about 1,500 square feet, to do live venue
That's
events.
big. That's a big room.
It's a big room.
And it's right off
For
the
live
Sky
shows?
train. right up
Yes,
like
sir.
2 minutes
Art
walk
gallery
from
Like
and
Columbia or
Columbia.
New West or
Columbia.
Live shows.
the Columbia SkyTrain
Yeah,
station?
2 minutes from
Wicked,
Columbia
man.
SkyTrain.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing.
For live shows.
Yeah, because people can just zap out on the SkyTrain and zap back,
Absolutely. So, what's the SUNA head office? How does one contact SUNA to get a room on one of your 80 whatever rooms?
So we run most of our bookings just through technology. So
Yep.
we have a self-booking online system for all of our hourlies. If you're looking for recording or if you're looking to get into a lockout, which, by the way, we never have availability, which is why we keep building them, you can email or call us. We have plans over the next 2 years to open an additional 20,000 square feet of musician space in a tower behind the PNE. We've secured a great lease there with a good partner that we've been wooing for a while.
So
it's a
this is
new
SUNA
tower.
5.
That'll be SUNA 5. And then we have plans
Or what's the one in New West? Is that SUNA
It's
5?
SUNA.
Or is
I
this
guess
good? It'll be
technically
SUNA 6? You guys are ridiculous.
I guess technically that would be 6 with a tower.
Yeah, it'd be 6, yeah.
We're also investigating the possibility of low-cost
a big
artist production space because it's a huge need right now. In any city where gentrification puts land values to the roof, there's very little opportunity for artists and musicians to operate because there's just no land that's cheap enough for them to do it. So we're exploring a really interesting concept in partnership with an architectural firm and using contaminated land, like gas station land.
Yeah.
Which I can't say too much about yet.
That's
because
like every
there's a bit of a
playground
hold
I
on it.
played in when I was back in Ireland. It's like, by the way, kids, the monkey bars are contaminated with radioactive waste.
Well,
This
let's
used
hope-
to be a dump. Well, but you know what I mean.
Let's hope there's no radioactivity going
You can
on. but,
jam there, though.
whatever.
I think we're all coming
rooms are,
from shite
the rooms are
garbage
radioactive proof.
I know there's
Radiation
several
proof.
spaces in.
Sorry to
I know
make you
that they're not
derail
giving
there.
out licenses to put gas stations back on any
That's right.
any property in Vancouver, right? So I suppose there's a few opening up.
There are a ton. And
Was that one at Clark and First?
Yeah.
Is that one the one you're looking
that's
at?
one we're targeting, yes. But the beautiful
What do you
thing
want to do there?
So I can't go into too much detail in terms of how we're going to do
Man,
it.
give us the
All
red,
right,
but-
what the hell? What am I doing? I've drank enough vodka.
Sure,
Okay, so here's the deal. It's too late for you to stop us now anyways, world.
We're going to take over.
So, okay.
Sorry.
Allegedly. So we're working with an architectural firm to put together a concept using modular containers, whether these are Britco trailers or shipping containers. We're not sure yet. They're still exploring the viability of each. But these would be temporary solutions. So in a situation where you have a gas station where there's an off-gassing period of about 10 years, we drop one of these facilities and then negotiate with the landlord to get low/cheap rent. I should mention as well, we've also just founded a not-for-profit society for this purpose, among others, called the Society for the Advancement of Artists and Musicians.
Sam.
So that we can take what we've got, which is a for-profit corporation, partner it with a not-for-profit, and have a public-private partnership, which gives us the best of both worlds. So we
That
can,
makes sense.
for instance, work with the landlord in a gas station lot type of situation that they can give the society the lease on the land for free, which is a tax write-off for them, and then our for-profit corporation leases from our not-for-profit, et cetera, et cetera. So the structure is there. The city is very interested because it solves a couple of problems. For one thing, these gas station lots and other lots, it's not just gas stations. Like, for instance, a ton of the Falls Creek flats are contaminated all to hell.
No shit,
You know, it's
man.
like dry cleaning
Dry
places.
cleaning laundromats, yeah.
Exactly. Anything like that where they've been pumping chemicals into the ground, you got years before that's viable to do anything with.
Before they clear it
Exactly.
for anything.
Exactly. So the best thing
Log
the
it,
city
burn
can
it,
come
yeah.
up with,
You got to ship that
Alright.
contaminated soil elsewhere.
even
It's a
where you do
shame.
that, where you reclaim the soil that way,
Such
you
a
still
shame.
have to let it sit and breathe. So the city's interested because right now the best they can do, even with the reclamation of soil or whatever, is like
Yeah,
a
good
community garden.
luck.
Which, don't get me wrong, is great. Like, having a community garden is awesome. But at the same time, you can't grow anything edible there because it's full of hydrocarbons. So what you're going to end up with is a...
Well, there's the hydrocarbons in the ground, and
Exactly.
they're all right next to the heaviest traveled streets
Exactly.
that Vancouver has to offer.
Yeah.
I
Are we
see it all the time.
Are we going to save the world
Snails
tonight, or are we going
there,
to talk
you know.
about rock and roll?
Can't we do both, Carter?
You could put
Can't we do both, Carter?
mycelium.
We're almost on to the rock and roll. We're trying to get through the business part of it
You
here.
could put mycelium there, you know, and try to bring
exactly.
back.
Well, that would be great. Like, absolutely.
It's these big mycelium injectors. You can inject them into the ground there, and then they bring back all the creatures that are going to clean out all that.
Yeah, that's
toxic waste.
everything.
There's definitely things that we
There's
can
that
do.
you can
There's
do.
definitely things that we
But
can do. It's not.
It's not really
I
helping.
love the idea of using shipping containers to be reused as whatever.
Housing.
Yeah, man.
Well, the
At
beautiful
least
thing-
you keep patties
Whether
on
it's
the
housing or
The beautiful thing,
Alternative.
the beautiful thing about shipping containers is it's recycling for one thing, because these things are trash. Once they arrive from overseas, they're dropped and they're left, and they
Right.
just sort of sit there. So there are a lot of companies that are refurbishing these things in many applications.
I've seen a lot
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
Living
fantastic
in them now.
Yeah,
refurbished crates.
Oh
absolutely.
yeah, they're amazing.
So we know how to build studios,
Yeah.
and so what we and so like a music studio is very complex compared to an artist studio. Artist studio is about a third of the material, because you're not building for soundproofing. So the existing artist studios that are out there today are kind of like plywood walls and electrical,
Regular
you know,
house.
that's not too great.
Sometimes not even that.
Well, no, warehouses.
Yeah.
So like plywood, and then you maybe get, you're going to have electrical, but it might be shoddy. It's kind of hit and miss, because
You
they're
might
working.
get
Might be.
insulation, you might not. Right.
Depends on who you.
Yeah, some of the studios
Depends
they're
on
not
who.
even.
Dude, I know.
120, 220.
I gotta
I've
say,
been in some ratty studios around
Yeah,
here.
man. Like when we took over Diamond Sharp,
Is that
and
15 amp or?
when we took over Diamond Sharp, that was
Do you
a learning-
remember
Knob and
that
tube.
shit?
Knob and tube, bud.
Rob, you remember that? Clearing out that one room, right?
Yeah,
The cable coming off,
yeah.
right?
There's a live wire. Yeah. It's just crazy. Like,
And
Black
you got
on
it-
black.
you touch the
Black
outlet was
on
just
black.
hanging by a
Buddy,
thread. It
just
sparks.
lucky he wasn't
And people
lost
jam in
into
rooms
the
like this, but
planet.
It's hot.
regardless,
It's hot and it should not be.
exactly.
Yeah.
But artist studios are the same kind of thing in a lot of places. And then, don't get me wrong, there's some nice artist studios out there, but not a lot, and not typically within the price range of the majority of the artists that are out there. Unless you're an established artist with a good revenue base, good luck finding a good place.
Sure, yeah.
And what artist space is left is inevitably going to get closed down, because development will happen.
Doesn't like you, man.
regardless.
Yeah.
Renegade Studios, for example.
Yeah,
is in
nothing
retreat.
likes you.
Yes,
Yeah.
full on retreat.
Renegade was
Absolutely.
like second in Maine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
we
they've had
jammed
a
a
bunch of spaces, and they are now retreating from the development.
That's right.
Oh yeah, they're
Yeah,
gone.
getting off of it.
Uh, there's
They're on
one.
Second in Quebec or whatever.
There's one left, and they're now on Broadway. They opened 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But
Didn't we
Jim,
get some props
They're doing
tonight?
okay.
they're doing fine in terms of what. Yeah, but
Where'd the props come from
Yeah,
tonight?
but they did lose a.
Why
a
are
whole
you guys
space.
expanding so hard? If everyone's retreating, how do you get
Well, that's what one closes.
how do you get that much business? Oh,
So
I guess
the
you're
opening
taking.
one when one is closed.
That's the problem. Is
Right.
like as
It's like
fast as we open,
Yeah.
we're still not keeping up with the demand.
Right.
Because every time we open a space, we do it without like we don't know if we're going to fill it. And then 6 months
Build
to
it
a
and they
year
will
before
come.
we're there.
Is the thing.
Places are shutting down. Places shut down. People, it's just going to keep happening, because that's the evolution, unfortunately, of this city is gentrification. Prices go up. Landlords get greedy.
Problems
Developers
between
step in.
can explain it
landlord
to you.
and tenant.
I
Well,
can
not
explain
even
it to you.
problems. The landlord says, well, shit, I mean, I could keep renting to this artist
I can
place,
explain
which
it to you,
pays
like,
month
perfectly
to
simple.
month and doesn't have a lease, or I could tear the bloody place down, put a condo here, and make millions of dollars. And a lot of landlords that's just their
Getting to
You
that
lose
point.
your lease.
Getting to that point.
Sometimes it's hard if you don't have a good team to get your steam back up and rebuild
Oh,
again.
yeah, no, for
like
sure.
Sanctuary. The guys right down across from us, they got shut down because they lost their lease.
Yeah.
The landlord wouldn't renew it, had some
Yeah.
idea to get more money out of that revenue or what he was thinking. And then
Another plan.
And they got
Yeah.
60 days notice.
and they were right
And
next
they've
to
been there
us.
for 9 years.
2 months. Everyone out.
So we've been working
How
with
many
them.
rooms did
We've
they
been
have there?
working with them, trying to sort of
I think about 14 lockouts and about 5 or
help
6
them out
hourlies.
and bring some other people on board with us. You know what I mean? Because it's like a little. They must have built a community after that long a time being there.
Yeah.
Like, they were there 10 years.
9, 10. Yeah.
9,
They opened
10
when we
years.
opened SUNA.
That's a great area for jam spaces. I mean,
Yeah.
you got
was.
SUNA. It
was.
still is.
It
SUNA
was.
at Odlum. You got Faceplant. I don't know if you guys know about
Know about
Faceplant.
Faceplant. Yeah.
They're just up the road from the Odlum place, and
Yeah,
it's
and they're
it's
fantastic facility. Good people.
3 rooms.
Yeah.
1 drum
Love
room,
this.
2 rehersal rooms. It's more of an hourly. It doesn't have
They're
it doesn't have
called
lockout.
Faceplant?
That's
Yeah,
right.
and they do a lot of recording there too.
It
what I've heard.
allows people the ability to bring a producer in, and there's
into
a
the place, and it's
they
set
have
up
the
nice.
2 rooms, and it's divided by the sound room. and it's got windows into both rooms on either side. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so it's a good production.
Yeah. Brent's there 24/7. You can leave your gear there. It's
so
cheap.
I've heard a lot
it's
of great
cheap.
stuff.
The reason I say that area used to be a good space.
If you don't need a lockout, Faceplant's right.
Faceplant's amazing. I can't say enough good things about them. But the reason I say that area was a good place for jam spaces and isn't now is that you wouldn't be able to open one now. When we secured the Jamnasium building right at William and Clark, so that same area, we got about $1.50 a square foot a year, per month rather. So our rent there is like $16,000-$17,000. You're not going to find that now. It's at least two
$16,000 a month is
That's
what
right.
you're paying.
That's right.
At the Odlum space.
No, at the Jamnasium.
That's the bigger, much bigger spot.
Yeah, it's 12,000 square feet. So you're paying about $1.50 per square foot per month. You're never going to find a deal like that again, and that sounds funny because it used to be when I opened the first SUNA, it was under $1. It was under $1 square foot. There was a warehouse that just went out for lease 2 doors down from our Odlum location. It was over $2 per square foot per month, and that means it's out of financial range. You can't. I mean, unless you, as a band, you can't afford to pay $6 per square foot per month. You can't afford to pay $5 per square foot per month. A 200 square foot room being $1,000 is just, out of reach.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And we're close to that with our pricing for the Jamnasium, and only because we have to, because we're at the upper end of what we're paying in for that area. We've secured this 20,000 square foot deal with the Tower guys, and we did that at $1.50 a square foot because we locked it in last year. Nobody else is getting that kind of deal and never will again in this city. No. So these are, quite frankly, probably the last of the lockouts that can be constructed in a traditional warehouse setting, which is why we're exploring other options.
And you said your lockout, your lease for the new building, the Jamnasium, is what, like 20 years?
Pretty much, 17.
You got it right in there.
Yeah.
17.
That's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. Why is that lease so long? That seems like an almost impossible...
Did you ever
You
hear?
must have negotiated that, right?
About
you went in saying, we've been having problems with short leases. Can we do a long lease?
It's like any rental agreement. You're paying
We
as
learned
you go,
a very valuable lesson from the first place that we lost because we had a 5-year plus a 5-year renewal. So when we went in for Tuna, we got a 10-year and a 5-year renewal. It's a total of 15.
It seems so high, though. Like, I feel like if I renegotiated my lease where I live, they'd be like, first of all, I don't have a lease, but let's say I renegotiated a lease, it'd be like, hey, 5 years, motherfucker. Not 5, 15.
Arthur McGuinness signed a 9,000-year lease for Guinness breweries.
That's why it took
legendary.
us. Why it took us 18 months to find the Jamnasium building. We started looking as soon as we opened the Rockery because we saw the writing on the wall.
I see.
So we
want to lock into money. The landlord wants to lock into money that he can.
Some of them do. Some of them do. Some of them want a 5-year because they want to tear the bloody thing down, and that's what we found. Most 80%, 90% of the buildings that we looked at were like, no, 5-year max, 5-year max. One guy was like 2-year max. You can't sink hundreds of thousands of dollars into a facility,
especially a jam space like that. Absolutely.
Not luck.
Well, because they're coming in and rearranging the entire building.
Fortunate in the sense of like,
No. We hammered through, we worked hard, and we got the right connections. One of our resources, this is the thing, you were asking earlier how we've succeeded where everybody else is not doing so well in terms of opening new facilities. It's because of the team that we built.
Yeah.
One of those team members is a realtor that knows how to negotiate with landlords.
I was going to ask earlier, which one of you guys is the business guy that went to school? It sounds like you.
I dropped out of university after
You dropped out, but you learned a little bit.
No,
obviously.
I didn't learn anything in university.
Nothing?
I studied electronics. I studied electronics in college.
It's me.
Someone's got some business.
I learned a tremendous
savvy.
amount from.
Yeah. He's been working.
I was raised in business essentially when I got older.
Characters.
When I moved to Vancouver,
So you got some life.
I was exactly life experience. I was fortunate enough to fall in with a family of very successful business people in West Vancouver, and they trusted me with a lot. And I started in the call center. And over the course of 10 years, I was up to I was essentially vice president of sales nationally.
Close up on that.
And then I got diagnosed with cancer.
Close up on that shit.
And then decided to pursue the jam space thing full time. And I just used all that knowledge and the connections too, because
Can we talk about your cancer for fucking 3 minutes here?
I'm not cancerous now.
This guy, you've been through the cancer thing. What kind of cancer did you have?
Misdiagnosis.
What?
Yeah.
Gave me 5 weeks to live. T-cell lymphoma. Removed one of the glands in my neck.
Did surgery on you?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Unneeded surgery?
Yeah.
Unnecessary surgery. Yeah.
Were you able to sue?
No. At the point where I ended up, during that
I thought we were getting to the point where I found where you were getting the funding for this thing, and it was like, misdiagnosis of cancer, and they cut you open, and you got millions of dollars, and now you're just making...
It's sweat equity.
It ruined our St. Patrick's Day gig, I'll tell you that.
The whole company's run on sweat.
By the
Sweat
way,
equity
guys,
from
I'm
guys
dying
that
of cancer,
care.
man.
Yeah.
Imagine that, right?
That's how we're doing
Come
it.
see it, right?
It's like,
So-
you know how it is. It's hard
Hey,
work.
guy?
Let's hear the story.
I was in the process of opening SUNA with my business partners when part of my neck swelled up on this side. It turned into about a ping pong golf ball sized
A ping
size.
ball.
It was huge. It's massive.
Is that like a lymph node thing?
That's right.
Yeah.
One ping pong
So,
ball.
and then I started having I couldn't sleep. I was sweating all the time. And I was feverish. There was all kinds of things going on. So anyway, I couldn't work. I was working and building at the time. And then went to the emergency room saying, I don't feel well. What's going on? So they have a look at me. They're like, okay, first of all, what have you been doing? I'm like, oh, I'm working in this warehouse. And they're like, have you like scratched yourself on nails or whatever? I'm like, yeah, maybe once or twice, or, chip my fingers or whatever. They said, oh, it's probably tetanus. So they gave me a tetanus shot. Then I went back home and then was still really sick. It was awful. But yeah, eventually what happened was they brought me in. They did some tests. They did a couple of biopsies. So I had a bone marrow biopsy and all this other stuff. They did an excision. They did one of those biopsies where they suck the stuff out of the gland, and then they finally did an excisional biopsy. They cut it out. And
like that.
so they said they sat me down with my uncle, who's a doctor at the time, and said, okay, we've had 2 independent pathologists verify that this is T-cell lymphoma cancer, which ironically is what Mr. T had. It's T-cell.
Ah,
Lord, no.
That's it. I painted the food.
And they gave me 5 weeks to live. They said I was probably already infertile. And they put me through all kinds of PET scans, CAT scans.
Ruined
You're
your
never gonna
life.
have babies.
What kind of stress
So
was
you're
that?
never gonna have babies.
Might as well just
It was
geld
weird.
you now.
It was odd because it was kind of like in one way it was really awful. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna die. And another way it was kind of a relief. I'm like, oh, thank God, I don't have to work anymore.
done.
I don't have to worry about
Fuck it, man.
getting growing up,
fucking plan.
getting
What am I
married,
trying
having
for?
kids. I don't have to worry
Why
about
would I
anything.
try?
True Roman.
I got
A true Roman.
Exactly.
I hear where you're coming from there.
Yeah, no, but it was weird. Yeah, no, it was a really fucked up part of my life, and it really it scarred me pretty horribly for a while.
No doubt.
But I mean, at the
You
end
get
of it
that
all-
news from multiple
Invasive
doctors.
bullshit.
Yeah,
You're basically dead.
it was awful.
And
Invasive.
so what was the final? You said it wasn't.
They determined, and this is about
This is the
2.5 to 3 weeks into the 5-week timeline of my life being over, that
Chop your neck off.
and I was feeling better. As soon as I took the thing out of my neck, I started feeling much better.
Tell
And
all your
then
family you're booking out.
they called me in. They're like, because it was funny, because they even at one point they had me in the cancer clinic and they weighed me, and someone screwed up the weight, and so they forgot, the little crossbars. So the record showed that I was 195 pounds, and then I dropped to 80 pounds.
You were like a
Like-
refugee.
Were you ever 200 pounds?
I was 200 pounds. I was
Oh, you
never
were a big
80
guy?
Well, I was still 200 pounds.
80 pounds. 6
But
feet
yeah,
tall.
they said I lost 110 pounds
Well,
in
no
like 2
wonder they were
weeks.
rushing you in.
And then I'm like, that's impossible. That's impossible.
Yeah, I did.
And then they weighed me and they're like, oh yeah, well, maybe someone screwed up. I don't know.
Jesus.
Such a comedy of errors. But finally, what they said, once they took the thing out and they screwed around with it for a while,
Get
they
that
said,
ready.
okay, looks like you might actually have viral mono.
A little bit of mono. My sister had that when she was
From the
like
1930s.
Right? And
Yeah.
it was bizarre.
kissing too much.
It was,
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
Did you do a little bit of kissing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was kissing all over.
Oh yeah, I was kissing all
Go
the
ahead,
girls.
baby. I'm gonna die.
All those
Is that
girls were
hot?
just as sick
Yeah.
as me.
Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna die. Isn't that hot?
Yeah,
I'm
mono.
down. I just dropped 100 pounds in 2 weeks.
He's Rob
Never
Stewart,
felt
man.
better.
He just
Pounds of sperm.
Anyway, yeah. So they're like, yeah, we think it might be viral mono. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like they're like,
Yeah.
but we're not sure.
Yeah. Let me call my parents to let them know that I'm
that was
not
the whole thing.
dying on the table.
That was the hardest conversation I've
they
ever had in my
shaved
life,
his
is
neck,
having to
right?
tell my
Shaved his
parents
neck off,
individually,
right?
because they're
Down
not
his
together,
lymph nodes.
that, oh, hey, I got 5 weeks to live. It's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it changed my outlook on a lot of things, but at the time, I was working, like I say, high-level sales. This is a corporation in West Vancouver.
Quit his
Loved the
job.
family. The family loved me. there was an emotional moment where they had me in the meeting room, and they had to announce to all the staff, well, Rob's really sick and he might die and he has to go away, and everybody's crying, and I'm like, this is fucking horrifying. But at the end of it all, I'm like, okay, so it turns out it might be mono.
Oh,
and everybody's
it's not
like,
nearly as bad as it was.
Everybody's like, well,
every teenager goes through that if they have any kind of
we need that picture of
contact with any other child.
Midlife crisis teenagers, too. They go through mono.
So at the end of it all, here I am, and I'm like,
rough.
Okay,
I'm not taking anything away from cancer.
I've been on medical EI, right, for like a couple weeks now, or a month, or whatever it was, and I'm like, okay, so here I am, and I've had time to breathe, and I decided not to go back.
these cups of tea.
Not to go back. I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do United Space shit full time.
Potato.
And that's it.
Made
that's
from
what I've been doing.
potatoes.
Oh, and
Thank
then
the Lord.
When
EI tried to come against you.
That's right. When
they wanted
the
their
medical
fucking money
system,
because you didn't actually have fucking cancer,
when
mate.
the medical system found out,
isn't that a fucking
I
pain in the ass,
asshole.
What?
they clawed back all the EI that they
Of course
paid
they
me.
did.
What?
So I actually still owe EI.
Thank the
Couple grand.
thank the Canadian government.
You
for,
lying cheap
here they go.
bastard.
Full circle.
Thank the Canadian government for
What if he had the fucking flu?
not
if he was
enforcing
just sick of the flu?
the word of the doctor.
Oh
the
my
3
God.
doctors
Such a
that said,
joke,
"Hey, this guy's got an
They
issue."
don't even care, man.
And they're like, "Oh, well, we'll set him
They're
up.
coming
He'll be all
against
right
you,
until
man.
he dies." And they're like, "No, he had mono." And they're like,
He lied.
"Give us all that back." Oh, you weren't working in that time? Oh, too bad, bud.
Prove
Yeah,
you
that was the thing. They were like,
that you already paid for.
prove.
What are you, Canadian?
That's what they said. They said, prove that you couldn't work during this period. I'm like, let me get this
Yeah,
straight.
exactly.
You want me to prove that for like a month when I was under the impression that I was going to be dying,
My doctors told me
and I was
couldn't.
sweating, and like that I was proved that I couldn't work. I'm like, okay.
Did
So
you have a doctor's note?
I've got a pile of doctor's notes.
1,800 doctor's
wow,
notes.
I got so many doctor's notes. It's fucking crazy. But yeah,
So-
so that was when I decided to go full time, and that's when we opened. We got Tuna open.
Smack.
We opened the Rockery, and we started hunting for the Jam Nation. And at the same time, we were putting on shows. We were doing Taco Fest. We were doing the Whammies.
So you were going through all these things while you were being basically attacked by the Canadian government for a false
And doctors.
doctors.
The doctors fucked up. I paid for
Doctors fucked up and you
in
paid for it.
so many ways.
I don't like that.
Ridiculous.
I don't like that at all.
it.
Pissed me off a bunch, man.
It's funny because they have this thing called a tribunal
What?
hearing. So if you say to them, no, I don't think it's fair that you're asking me to pay back this money that you say that I owe you, they do something called a
Fucking with
tribunal
my
hearing.
friends and shit, man.
And the tribunal hearing, they send you some paperwork. They say, okay, so we've scheduled a tribunal hearing. You have to call in at such and such a time. There's a panel of experts, and we're all going to hear your case, and then we're going to decide whether or not we want to let it go. So what they did was they set the date and time, and I put it in my calendar.
Were there
and
all
I got-
Masons?
Oh, God. They were doctors.
Here we go.
So then I got all this
Lions Club.
stuff prepared, and I did all this research, and then the time came for the day, the big day, and I dial in, and there's no one there. I'm like, well, that's weird.
They didn't even show up.
And then a week later, I get a letter saying, you didn't show up for your tribunal hearing, so you are automatically found in
That means
in
that
fault.
you didn't show up to your
And then I called them. I'm like, what in the actual fuck are you saying?
You didn't show up.
And they're like,
in time.
well, didn't you get our
So now
letter?
you're
We
definitely
rescheduled it.
guilty.
They rescheduled.
So they scheduled it for a week
You
before.
might have to fucking send a fucking
And of course I didn't,
handwritten
because I didn't get the
them.
letter. I didn't call
you're
it.
in
So
trouble.
The day after you were supposed to be there, they rescheduled you for a week before. That sounds like the government.
they fucked me.
Sounds like the
Then
government.
they fucked me again.
Wow.
And then
That
they fucked me
fucking
again.
absolutely
Wow.
And they didn't even pay me for fucking me.
So one time, I was like, I was sitting at
And then
home
garnish
and
your
I had a
wages?
call.
Last weekend.
Well, they would
Are
if I
they
had
still
filed
are
my
they
ta-
still taking SUNA money?
They would if I had filed my taxes since personally.
Should we
saw-
start a war against
Allegedly.
Let's not get into this. Let's not get into
I
this
file
now.
my
Mics are
corporate
hitting the
taxes.
fucking
We're getting-
cameras
We
are
should
on
talk
the floor.
about the mix down.
I file my
tonight.
corporate taxes
Hey,
every
okay.
year.
I would like
Hold
to
on,
say
we're going to
something.
talk about the whammies.
Okay, all right. Yeah, whoop.
We're gonna go to the whammy section now.
Nobody needs
We're
to
we're
know.
going to the whammy section.
Have you ever been fucking nominated for a fucking whack off me? I mean
A whammy?
Oh, this guy.
Have I? I've never. Have you?
Whammy.
We don't get
You ever
nominated. That's for the
nominated?
public. We
Not
can't get
Whammy.
nominated. It's a conflict of interest.
Sarcophagus of
We were. I'm the one of the hosts of the Whammy, so I can't.
How did the whammies start?
I thought he
Is
was.
what I want to
It's a
know.
brainchild.
Where?
What are the whammies?
Well, that's what
Yes.
That's exactly where I'm starting.
Where the hell
C-Mart.
are
I
we
would
here?
like to know too.
That's exactly where I'm starting. Here, C-Mart.
The
Also,
Whammy.
Who was sitting around saying,
nominating
we should
everybody
do?
that's cool in your fucking
You know what we
neighborhood,
should
man.
do?
Yeah, it's true.
So,
that's what
All the bands
came
in
out of that.
It was
like that.
me and Johnny Matter from Apocalypse Sunrise Productions, good friend of mine and business partner.
I know Johnny Matter.
Yeah, wonderful guy. We were sitting in the Legion one
He's
day.
living out in like
Pomo, I think. Port Moody?
Port
Mopo.
Moody now, yeah.
Mopo.
Yeah.
Mopo. Pomo? Pomo. Pomode.
Fort St. Fuck.
You can
Yeah,
catch
he's
it.
Fort
Saint-
Down,
Fort Saint-
smart.
Fuck off.
Fort St. Mo or whatever.
Fort St. Mo.
No, we're
over
sitting
there.
in the Legion. We're sitting in the
It's
Legion.
way over there anyway.
And I
Fort
said to
St.
Johnny,
Muckinac.
It's inland.
I said to Johnny, I'm
Fort
like,
St.
you know what we
Muckinac.
should do, Johnny? So we should have an award ceremony where we have a lot of fun and we just like make fun of the Grammys and like, you know, have some local recognition for local music because nobody gets recognized in the underground music scene. It's just all this garbage, this Junos, this Grammys, all this shit. It's a tiny little clique.
The
that-
high-end stuff.
Exactly.
If you make money for someone, you might be nominated for something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Super cliquey.
there is. I think this is not something that any of us can deny, but there's an industry, right, that runs music, right, and that industry's interests are to sell a product. Their job as being, you know, music industry people is not to go out and find the newest, the most interesting, the best. Their job is
10
to
times on
reinforce a template and sell.
Sell that shit.
Sell. And so people that get into that little clique or that, you know, small group of people.
Music to shop to.
Exactly.
The golden circle.
have to become like the kinds of sounds that they believe
Yeah.
will sell because it's a formula. So the record label guy, is not going to fork out a bunch of money for an up-and-coming artist to get in and press albums, if you know, unless they sound a certain way, unless they do it a certain way that they believe will sell.
commercial.
So what you got is you got these tiny number of artists up here, and then you got all these people creating music. Like, it blows my mind. How many people do
Well,
we know
you're talking about the population.
Exactly.
The population,
Exactly.
as opposed to the people that are allowed through the keyhole.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do
Why
know
don't we sing a
exactly.
song
So,
then?
the thought was, fuck the elites. Let's do something
weirdo.
fun for our community and see if it works.
Local.
I like what you're
East
doing.
Van, it expanded to the rest of Vancouver.
It was funny.
So
Our
quick.
first year, we actually got nominees from outside of our little community, which surprised me. We got nominees from
I
Surrey,
think the hip hop guy was
US.
from Seattle.
the ex-presidents. Yeah, they were from
Ex-presidents.
down south, and the best photographer was from Surrey, and it was very surprising because I mean, so we.
But they'd been to East Van many times
sure.
to play, you know, like they play.
And it was
here
this
all the time.
organic thing where we released it and said, here you go. This is how it works. Everybody can nominate anybody for anything. Fuck it. Why not? And then everybody started nominating it. And then I didn't realize what a fucking administrative headache it would be to have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 entries where everything's spelled differently. All the emails are different.
Yeah,
What have I
yeah,
created?
yeah.
But we made it work.
I've created
Brother,
a monster.
I love it. I'm totally for it.
The fact that you
I
did
have
it,
won.
right?
It was
Yes.
good fun.
I have won.
right? We had a good time, man.
I have won an award
Yes, you have.
for every one of the 3 years you've been up there.
That's right.
Really?
Be like an award-winning.
That's amazing.
lovely
That's
person.
amazing.
Year one, which was for 2015,
Yeah.
Right?
we took Spree Killer's Best
Right,
Punk
best
Band.
punk, yeah.
Three
Wow.
killers.
The next year after that, the album that Spree Killers put
That's
out
right.
was
Album
a
of the year.
split with Gag Order out of Southern Ontario.
Yep.
We got Best Album of the Year that year for 2016.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this year,
And this year,
Bluegrass.
I'm
He
not.
was like, I remember him telling me that.
Bluegrass.
I didn't know we were
Let's
bluegrass.
get her in the
I
mud.
guarantee you, these
Someone's
bluegrass,
getting it.
these bluegrass artists out there are going to be like,
What the
Play us
heck?
a song. man.
But you guys are very
Play
what's
us a
it?
song. man.
I would like to.
What's the Earth? What's the thing? The
What I would like to do is
roots. Very roots.
suggest another genre. Or I'm not a genre guy.
Like roots
I know award ceremonies are very genre oriented.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Unfortunate.
metal
but
singer, metal band, metal album. Like I know it's always genre oriented, but what I would say is there's an acoustic, just a straight up acoustic genre.
acoustic.
It doesn't have to. Bluegrass is a very specific
Or
genre.
My opinion of your band, seeing
know?
it is you guys are roots rock. You know what I mean? That roots. You guys get different flavors from different types of blues, and you know,
genre.
Dylan.
I like
those kind of
I
things,
like
you
I
know?
like the folk genre personally.
Yeah.
I'm
Because
fucking
it's
genre
very
music,
very
man.
broad.
Also, yes, yeah.
If you go
Did we have folk?
if you
Best
go
folk?
bluegrass,
No.
if you go down the bluegrass road,
tried to go-
bluegrass doesn't have drums.
Bluegrass is
Bluegrass is,
Oh shit, man.
you know, you'll have a banjo and a stand-up bass and all the instruments in between.
Oh yeah,
and that's a bluegrass band.
style. Yes, of course.
So that's just me like fucking
Guys.
as the winner of the bluegrass award
This
this
is us.
year. I'm gonna say no disrespect to the bluegrass people. I guarantee you, there's way better bluegrass players out there. I really appreciate the nomination and the votes and everything. That's what I've been saying for the last 3 years with this
That's
Whammies
probably where
thing.
people are trying to
I
fit your
love,
band in.
I love the fact that you guys are bringing
Breaking it
the underground
Okay, guy.
into people's faces. And the only negatives that I've come across is people are saying, well, it's a what's that popularity contest. It's a popularity. Sure, it's a popularity contest.
that's what
but
they are.
I mean, if you're out there as an artist.
Yeah.
And you're making friends or whatever, people are following you to whatever
To your
degree.
band. And
Can I
like
cut
your
in
music.
at
If
any
they're
point?
willing to cast a vote for you in anything, any category, in any awards thing, I mean, you've been out there putting the work in,
The
right?
important thing to remember about the
I've been trying my
Whammies-
entire life.
Yeah,
is
bands are
not-
full
I've been
of
trying my
guys,
entire
different
life to
guys.
get people on my side.
Yeah.
Guy, can I
No,
bust
no,
in for a second?
absolutely.
But it's
All
their
right, cool.
music.
Please.
So
that
like
want to
you can
listen
talk
to.
about the Whammies, you can talk about SUNA Studios, right? Like SUNA Studios
That's what
is
we're doing.
it's a family, man. You know what I mean? And that's what people are attracted to. They're attracted
Just a note that
To
Kurt
be
is
in
attracted to his
themselves.
family.
A dysfunctional family. That's right. Be it.
We rocked the 95 down
So
Hastings
rude.
Street, man.
Well, I've heard this many times.
Whatever.
We've
right?
called ourselves
The fact of the matter
dysfunctional
is,
so
it's
many
like
times. Like,
we're still here.
So
this is
And
from
we're
the horse's
enjoying
mouth.
ourselves, and
Straight
we're
from
a
the horse's
family.
mouth.
and Aiden's correct in that we are family, we're community, right? And
That's what it is.
I'm
the
looking out for
happy.
you. You're
I
looking out for
understand
me.
that you guys bringing the whammies forward while I pour a drink.
You can
Hey,
call the
you
Whammies
getting that?
a joke.
You
The
getting that
Whammies
spark?
is a joke, right? It's a joke. Of course, it's a joke. He created
No,
it as
it's
a
not a
joke.
joke.
Well, it
Not a
is.
joke.
Did you create it as a
Hey.
joke? Because it's not a joke.
It's not a joke at all.
When
When
people take it seriously
Yeah.
and nominate someone that they think is legitimately
When I say
worthy
joke,
of
when I say
something,
a
and then
joke, I mean
several
that
people
seriously,
pile on
right?
that and say,
I mean that
absolutely
seriously.
award that person.
So
Yeah,
the thing, the
exactly.
important thing to remember about the
It's not
Whammies
When I say a joke, I mean
It's
I mean
not-
that most sincere, okay?
not to
Because
take them too
I'm an
seriously.
actor, okay? So you fucking
Do
don't
not
understand
No one
take
takes it
when I
seriously.
start
Well,
Yeah,
a lot of
exactly.
people
It's like
think
we're
that
not-
people take it seriously, and that's a problem. They're like, it's a popularity contest, and people get all pissed off. They're like, well, I mean, obviously
Truly,
it's-
it is a popularity contest.
And that's what
but
people
why
think.
are you getting mad about that?
But
I
it's
mean,
the popularity of
so
your
that, you know,
band.
people don't
so not the
understand.
people.
I hear all the
if
time.
you've got a problem with someone being popular
Some of
and
them.
I
they're
wanna
winning
say
an
something.
award
I wanna
that you
say
don't
something,
fucking
though.
agree with,
Yeah.
I hear all the time.
what's the problem? Like,
People are like, this drummer, he's not the best drummer in Vancouver. Why did he get the award? I'm
Oh
like,
my
who cares?
goodness.
It does it mean that he's the best? It does not mean that he's
Yeah.
the best drummer in
He
Vancouver.
just got best drummer that year.
This is
And
recognition.
it's good. Let's
year.
say
I'll
hey.
bring up.
that year
Okay,
he worked hard that year.
High fives.
Probably
He did a
played
good
in a lot
job.
of bands.
He did a good
you know what I
job.
mean?
High five.
Then people knew him, and that was
Exactly.
his year. Where
sketchy,
He
Right.
sketchy, fucking Matt Fiorito
Wins all
won
the time.
the Whammies. Year one,
Yeah.
year two,
Did he get 3?
and someone else won this year
That's
Who
right,
won?
Scott
Who
Fletcher.
won?
because it's a popularity
Who won?
contest. But what did Sketchy say when he walked up to the
What
to
did
the
he
mic?
do?
He said, "I'm glad Chris Schultz wasn't nominated." You know, I'm telling you,
What does that
there's-
mean?
that means that he knows that there's someone way better than
There's
him.
other drummers that he
He knows he's
that
not
are
the best
great
guitar
guys.
player in
Yeah.
Vancouver.
Exactly.
Thanks for
He
explaining
knows,
that to me,
but
guy.
he's out there working in 18 bands.
Yeah.
Sketchy the Clown, fucking
course,
Matt
man.
Fiorito, is working
Yeah.
in literally 16 bands.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's all he wants to do. And if people
Yeah.
want to say, this guy's out there doing way more than everyone else,
I'm glad
what's-
you got the count, man. Because
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why would anyone say he's not the best guitar? Well, he even admits he's not the best guitar
It
player.
shouldn't be a competition.
I
It should
admit
just
we're
be
not the
friends
fucking best
complimenting
bluegrass
friends.
fucking band. I did not set out to be the best fucking bluegrass band.
No, it just comes that it's like
It
a
shouldn't be a competition. It should be friends. Just
Yeah, you
Right,
work
we're
hard,
here playing
man.
music.
everybody's
guy right
working
We're here
hard,
playing
having
music.
a lot of
We're
fun.
trying to.
I'm gonna cut this conversation off.
The first,
We're starting a battle now.
Can I cut?
Now it's just battling.
Oh, it's battling.
All right,
no,
I'm
it's
gonna-
not.
I'm gonna cut this conversation off. I'm gonna go.
The
nice
first
and
year
quiet.
we did the
Can you hear
Whammies.
me talking?
the first year we did the Whammies. This is what happened.
You both got points. Let's talk.
You go first.
Well, I just wanted to make a point about SUNA Studios and the freaking whammies, right? And people that... since I met you, man,
We're getting
you're
serious.
mental, right?
I know.
You're mental, bro.
Like, I
real
met
problems.
you,
It's a mentat.
and it was a band
Diamond
called-
Dick, mental as fuck.
No, but, like, what was the band called? What was the band called, Rob?
Gene Pool Disaster.
That's pretty good.
Yes,
So I'm on
indeed.
Craigslist, right?
Indeed.
Was it Irish?
Oh God, no.
I'm on
New
Craigslist.
Yorkish.
Which me and my brother were in it though. So it was a Gene
I'm
Pool
on
Disaster.
Craigslist like
New
probably
Yorkish.
15 years ago, right? And ended up with you lot, right? What was it called?
Gene Pool Disaster.
Oh, that sounds good. I might have to join it. So you guys wanted
Is that what you were advertising as?
Yes.
Come join us.
So they
Gene
wanted
Pool disaster.
So they wanted like an Irish type singer, like like a fucking Shane McGowan type thing.
Shane
Going on,
McGowan
yeah,
type.
With
right,
more
right.
teeth, please.
Shaney Mac, my fucking shirt is black.
I need 8% more cranberries.
Shady Mac, fucking.
I need 8% more cranberries in your material.
Anyways,
Lung butter.
I'm glad you brought.
So I got into
I'm
a
glad you brought
sing-song.
this guy.
Oh, yeah.
I got it into a sing song with Rob and the boys, and there was a lot of emotion. There was a lot of bass player
Too much emotion.
writing sing songs.
Too much angst.
Right? I can't sing somebody else's songs, but I can sing those songs. But
So yeah, Aiden
Was
turned
Murphy in that band?
up. That's right. Aiden
what
turned
happened?
up.
What did I do? Why did I get kicked
Murphy.
out of the band, Rob?
Aiden turned
Fast
up
forward.
to sing, and during our rehearsal at Charts at the time, he killed our only fan.
What?
It was
This guy?
It was he killed our only fan. It
Why
was
is he not in prison?
It was
He was
this
blind
beautiful
drunk.
giant fan that blew air across the room gorgeously and kept us all cool. And he kicked the living crap out of it till it didn't work anymore.
Oh, fan.
And it was hot at
like
Charts,
a
eh?
mechanical fan.
Well, you be the judge.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
a human.
It still
being.
brought tears to
Not
my
a
eyes.
human being that praised you.
Oh God, no, we didn't have any of those.
Those are, yeah.
So,
what
he killed our
like
only
a,
fan.
A fanatic?
Well, that was vodka.
And then afterwards,
Not a fanatic.
Can't
someone
use
said
that
That's
that.
what the
Oh,
root
we're
word of
live.
fan is from fanatic.
Like a
right?
dust mover.
Yeah, someone who
After
likes
the
a
re-
band, they're a fan. That's because it's they're fanatical.
after the rehearsal,
That's
the
what it
guitar
is.
player came up to us and said, "I don't think we can ask him back. He killed our fan."
Fanatics.
So
I've been.
Killed our
that's how I
fan.
met.
I've been one of them.
Hear that?
Exactly.
What?
You missed his story.
I did.
We just he killed our only fan.
So I hit the fucking song, and then what?
And then you killed our only
And
fan.
then I kicked my fucking foot through the fucking fan. And
Yes.
then the bass player said, I don't think we can ask him back.
To the fucking fan.
He's not coming back.
Okay, I'm glad you brought the Irish guy.
All right. Yeah. Well, the Irishman.
I'm glad you brought the Irishman.
Standard,
So
right?
what I was saying earlier about the whammies, just to close off.
Let's talk
this whole
about the
thing,
whammies
really
first.
quickly. The first year was a learning experience, but it was also what it felt like more than anything we had at the Wise Hall. It was great. It was a family reunion.
It was.
So we had all these people come in from all these different genres, and they're all hanging out.
Yeah.
They're all hanging out, and then you'd hear people like, "Holy shit, how's it going? I haven't seen you in years."
Yeah, it's an industry
Because
kind of.
what you got in the
global
city
party.
is you got a bunch of different genres that sort of hang out together, or traditionally did. You got your metal guys, you got your punk guys, you got your indie guys, you got all these different, and sorry, girls, you got all these different mixes.
And they're local. A lot of
They're all local, but they're all. So a lot of the time, what happened
born and
is
bred here.
all these different jam spaces existed, and they were like 4-room, 5-room, 10-room, whatever. And they were in these warehouses that were beat down and broken down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then all those places started to close. And then all these bands started to
what
come to SUNA.
happened?
And then because all these bands started coming to SUNA, they all heard about the whammies. So they all started coming to the whammy show and met each other again for the first time. Like you'd have a guy that was in a metal band that was playing in a blues project 10 years earlier. Right? And so the blues guys come out, they bump into their buddy that used to be a blues guy, and now he's all tattooed up and he's in a metal band. So that was the whole thing. It was a
Rebranded.
family reunion. And it was
family rebrand.
It was sort of like a view into what's been going on. A happy accident, all these tiny jam spaces closing down and all these people moving to our larger facilities, is a lot of people are meeting each other again
Is that what
for
they're
the
calling
first
it now?
time.
Happy accident?
I'm calling it. It's unfortunate. It sucks.
They're calling it a happy accident. Okay,
Life
I
sucks,
get it.
get
I
a
get
fucking
this.
helmet.
The whole thing is like, we're not stoked on jam spaces closing. And I think I've been pretty clear that we have been just scrambling to keep up with demand. Shut the hell up, or I'm going to throw a beer bottle at
They're
your face.
cultural.
Super glad you brought the Irish guy.
I know, right?
They're cultural.
I think we should fucking talk about something you guys did tonight that was really good and it affected me in a really spiritual way.
He wants to talk about the
They're cultural
mixing.
waypoints.
mixing the
as far as
album
mixing
of the
goes.
Paddy Wagon stuff.
Let's
Okay, this will be the last thing we talk about
There we
because
go. Can we play it?
Aiden.
I just want to close
we
off
can't
that
play
thought.
it.
No, we can't.
We can link it.
We could link it,
Send it
but
to
we
you,
couldn't.
man.
We couldn't
Is it-
download it on the radio.
Is it readily available
Yeah,
to
we
the
got
internet?
It.
No.
We've got it. We can get a hold of it on the MP3 though.
We
can
can't
drop
do
it
that here,
today.
but we can link it to the.
It's not available on the internet yet, but we could plug it into the
We
thing
can drop
somehow.
it here
This
right
ain't
now,
live. This
Gee.
ain't live. I mean,
No.
Where's your
What if
fucking
we
phone?
take it, play it on the phone, a little cut, and
play it
put
on my.
near the mic?
No.
Yeah, he'll play it on his
Come
phone
on, guys.
and move it to the
My
mic.
point is,
Come on,
it
guys.
sucks. So
High
now
five.
That's
they're
the
closing
worst.
down.
That's the worst way to release something.
Hi-fi.
Let's
Well,
not
that's
do
the
that.
only way we
Stop
were
it.
High
Don't. Just.
It's lo-fi.
Just.
My point is,
Okay.
it sucks that all these places are closing down.
I like
The
what you're
only
saying. I like
silver
what you're
lining-
saying.
The only
I'm
silver
pretty
lining.
disappointed in the Ireland.
Why'd you bring the fucking Irish guy?
The only silver lining
Basically,
on
all
all
we
these
will
people
do at
coming
this
to these
point
larger
is sing.
facilities is the fact
I want to sing a song
that we have a
with you
more
guys right
cohesive musical
Turn his mic
community.
now. I want to sing a song with you guys right now. And I hope you guys know that I love you.
Soundman's asleep. The
All
Irishman's
right.
going
I think we're good. Are we at an hour yet? C-Mart?
If you want to make fun,
This is
if you want to make fun of the Irish,
Welcome
Guys.
to Intergalactic Interviews.
And that's a wrap.
Hey, Rob.
My sound guy's signaling me. I think we're
That's
coming
a
up to the end.
signal.
of it.
Is the signal when his eyes close and he starts
Wait,
snoring?
wait. so long.
Can we get a
But
shot
yeah,
of that?
let's
That's
plug the
good.
Paddy Wagon show. Let's
Somebody
plug
write on
the
his
Paddy
face.
Wagon the show.
Oh yeah, Paddy Wagon.
Wagon's
Paddy
playing
Wagon.
the Dreadnoughts on
We're opening with the Dreadnoughts and Bishop's Green Railway. Paddy Wagon. Paddy Wagon.
Paddy Wagon.
That's right.
Yeah.
I run a
Come
jam
down.
space and I play in a band. Come and see me with my kilt on.
Yeah.
I don't wear underwear and I sit down. So come on out.
In Paddy Wagon,
That's right.
He's
Such
the
a
drummer of Paddy
sicko.
Wagon.
Ireland has kilts.
I don't wear underwear.
No, I'm Scottish.
Come and see me.
I'm Scottish too.
Hey!
You're in an Irish band with the.
Well, you know, I mean, shit, gotta
Yeah,
represent
that's
Gaelic.
the whole point.
Gaelic. Hard
That's the whole
kilts.
point of it, Paddy Wagon.
Gaelic.
We lost our sound guy. We're gonna have fucking.
It's okay. We've
okay.
adopted him as a
So
we've
okay,
adopted
hey,
him into
listen
the
to this.
Irish clan.
We need to thank the Float House
Thank you,
for,
Float House.
I wanna sing a song
for
and I hope
allowing
you
us
guys
to come
don't-
in and use
Thank
their
you for
their
this.
podcast room.
Thank you so much.
If you
so
want to
you.
book some time at the Float House here, which is you can go to what C-Mart. What is it?
He's
Floathouse.ca.
actually unconscious.
Punch in podcast.
Intergalactic Interviews. Intergalactic.
That's fucking beautiful. I love it.
Way to go, Rob. You ready to go, Rob? Soundman extraordinaire.
C-Mart! There we go. Oh, he's
Intergalactic
just bopping along to Aiden's
Hey,
song.
C-Mart.
This is good.
Should we do the Float House?
That's excellent.
So
Jesus Christ, we're down.
hey, put it on me. Put it on me.
Jesus Christ.
Jamie's gonna have a blast editing. Jamie's gonna have a blast
Just in
editing this. This is okay. Turn his mic off. Like 45 minutes ago.
I'm gonna give you a shot up my kilt. Hold on. There we go. How does this fucking work here?
Christ.
Do you see me crotch?
I'd like to thank the. I'd like to thank the Float House for
Thank you, Float
allowing
House.
us to come in and do what we do
There we
in
go,
their
there we
room.
Thank you so much, Guy. Thanks so much, C-Mart. Thank you guys for having
C-Mart, we
us
love you.
here.
We love you, C-Mart.
Really, really appreciate
Guy was amazing. Thank you
this.
so much. Call me.
I podcast.
Really appreciate it.
Hands up! Hands up on you!
He's taking his shirt off. Someone cut the camera.
I'd like to take the blame right now
Guys, let's
for
go get, blind
reintroducing
drunk.
alcohol
God,
into the
man.
Intergalactic Interviews podcast.
Come in.
I'm sorry if it's tough to navigate.
Honey, sweet.
I love you all.